Oh man, I spent like half an hour trying to get the controller to work in Black Desert Online. I finally get it working through a bunch of stupid stuff that made no sense. There was a small option in the menu that you had to click on to get the controller to actually work. And I finally get it to work, and then the game has no controller UI. So you can't tell what the hell it wants you to press. Like, it's barking all these orders at you to press these buttons, and there's no controller UI. So I'm standing here, like, mashing all the buttons on the controller just to do what it wants me to. And I just decided to refund it. Spent like a total of an hour like downloading the game and then trying to get the controller to work, only for there to not be a freaking controller UI, which makes no sense. I hear that game is like pay to win anyway, so it's fine. Just don't know what's up with like these Korean MMOs and having garbage controller support. It's like they try to market it to like Westerners and stuff, and then they have trash controller support and wonder why console players don't play it. I hope they process my refund, because the game is unplayable. I can't believe I had to spend half an hour just trying to get the damn controller to work. And then they can't be bothered to like actually program a UI for it. Even though it's a localized MMO on PC, obviously people are going to want to use a controller. At least like put in the effort to like actually make a controller UI. Can't take that much work. It's supposed to be coming to console too, so maybe they'll fix that when they make the console version, but there's still no reason why it shouldn't already be in there. Come on, dude, go faster. I hate the water in this game because you swim so damn slow, even on the horse. And it always wants you to go across these bodies of water for no reason. It should just like not have important missions by the water. I think the biggest problem with this game is that you don't even really need to worry about the open world once you've played it, at least like halfway through. But once you get to that point, the open world's like not a big problem at all. Of course I couldn't switch to my damn thing in time. Can't believe he two-shot me. I'm like 20 levels above him. What the hell was that? Is it seriously gonna make me swim back over there again? Are you kidding me? Why? Just having a really shitty day with gaming today. Bought 2 games off that sale. Both of them I refunded because they weren't fun. And then Black Desert took a fucking hour. Only for there to not be a controller UI, which makes no sense to me. What is it with Korean developers and like localizing MMOs and having controller support, but not even bothering to make the controller support actually function? Should be like the first thing you do, especially if you're trying to market it to like console gamers. But they never actually bother to do that. They take like whatever takes the least effort. It looked kind of cool, and people kept telling me to play it over and over. I always heard it was like a second job or something, but my first impression is I can't even use the controller. I just lost all interest. I heard you need to spend like 60 bucks on that game to have anything resembling an enjoyable experience anyway. I only paid $5 for it, and I sent in a refund request. I hope they'll accept it. The game was unplayable. I'm not going to sit there and mash the button non-stop to learn how to play the game when it can't even be bothered to tell me what controller button I'm supposed to be pressing. Even though I was using the default settings. Like, most games in general aren't nice enough to actually, you know, change the tutorial prompts and stuff when you change the controls, but it should at least do it for default. I think that's like the bare minimum. Especially when you consider accessibility and stuff. Like, some people can't play on keyboard and mouse. Some people can't play on controller and vice versa. It's been a pretty hot topic on Twitter lately, how a lot of games, like, instead of like actually letting you go into the options, you know, they'll have some artsy cutscene or something, and it's like, well, you know, if the game's running at like 20 FPS on the base settings, then I kind of want to go to the menu first. Or if I use a special controller or keyboard, I want to be able to go to the controller its options first, but then sit through a cutscene that I can't skip. The game developers don't think about that kind of stuff anymore. This game's pretty nice. I mean, the first time you boot it up, you can go straight to the options and set everything the way you want. Oh, cool, they refunded me, so all is well. Except for the hour I spent fighting with that game that I'll never get back. But I was playing some games on my Switch when it was downloading, so it's no big deal. I don't really think I have the extra gaming budget to have been able to spend money on the cash shop to have an enjoyable experience anyway, so maybe if they add like a controller UI later down the road, I'd try it out again. So I still have to pay for, I had to pay for Dragon Mark for Death. That's coming out at the end of the month, and I haven't pre-ordered that yet. Well, in Korea, everybody plays those games on keyboard and mouse, and it usually is a pretty big advantage to play on keyboard and mouse. But apparently that game actually does function like decently with the controller. But it's always an afterthought, and usually only gets done. Usually the support for the controller usually only gets done when it gets like localized elsewhere. Like if they bring it to like Japan or America, and then they'll actually put in the effort and actually provide like decent controller support. But it's not always a given. There are no special weapons, you just grind the coins and buy them. There's no tutorial needed. Pretty crazy though that that game makes you jump through hoops just to use a controller. I want them to bring back the Tonfas, but that's not happening this season. If they could bring back the Sansetsukon and actually give it a moveset that's not shit, then I'd be down for that too, but it's far more likely that they'll declone Guanswo, because he's supposedly supposed to be the clone in this game, even though he actually has the better moveset. The combat's not automatic, it's just very homogenized. I think you're using the wrong term to describe the combat. Not automatic at all. You control every action that happens. It's not like you just hold a button down. It's just the problem is the movesets are very homogenized, and there's really only a couple that have interesting stuff. Like the ones that let you do the knockdown trigger in the air are more interesting. But the last batch of DLC weapons they added actually are kind of getting away from that homogenized design. There's not really a whole lot they can do about it. I mean, they could add more moves, but like half the cast is cloned already, so from a business standpoint, it doesn't make sense to add moves now when everybody's going to have to get their unique weapon at some point to appease the fans who don't understand how game development works. And that it's the fans' fault that, you know, there's so many clones and stuff, because there's too many useless characters. I still like the combat. It just needs more moves, and that's not something that's easy for them to do. I can't help but groan every time the community complains that some random nobody that barely did anything in history, or is not even like an interesting concept, is not in the game, and then Koei adds them, and you know, they end up having a trash moveset, or no one cares. That's the precise issue. There's too many characters for them to like actually make any meaningful changes. I think this game would have been a lot better out of the gate if they just cut out a lot of those characters and just added them in later, but the problem with that approach is that Koei, the higher-ups, the suits of the company are all very DLC happy. So the game would have ended up being like $200 for the whole roster or something, but at the same time they would not be clones, so it would be kind of nice to just buy the characters piecemeal. The characters you have no interest in playing, you wouldn't have to buy them. The free trial is kind of set up in that way, where you don't have to. You don't have to pay for the whole game. Yeah, the combat in this game is not automatic. It's far more active than pretty much any other game that's like this. It's just it's got a homogenation problem. Homogenization. Am I feeling better? I can't really say I am. I just spent like an hour trying to play Black Desert Online, and that game has shit controller support and no UI for it, but Steam refunded me, so it's all good. I'll check the, maybe the eShop has some random Switch game I can play or something. Just trying to kill time until Vesperia comes out. There's still no announcement of when the next weapons are supposed to be coming for this. Well, they have like less than a month to add all that shit to the game, and none of it's anywhere to be found yet, so I'm going to assume the next patch will have it. I'd like to do more New Game Plus playthroughs, but depending on how game-changing the growth system is, I would rather do that when that's implemented. I'm glad you can just skip Chapter 6 now. You don't have to do Chirby anymore. All you do is you just go, Now, is this one where I have to defeat him on a boat? Well, screw that. I'm not doing that. I like how you can just skip Kirby now. You just go to Chapter 7 on somebody else, then switch character. I'm definitely going to be doing that if I do more New Game Plus playthroughs, because screw that. Make you go through all this forced, like, prep time and stuff, and then the battle's over in, like, 20 seconds. I'll definitely enjoy the playing as the other characters a lot more now that I can just skip that part of the game. Dude, the Battle of Kirby in general just makes no sense in this game. It's like, why do I have to do all these menial tasks when the battle consists of Cao Cao showing up on a boat drunk? And he, like, the AI, like, barely even functions. Like, why did I have to do all this forced menial tasks for that? Like, at least, like, make it proportionately worthwhile. I've never really cared for that battle in these games anyway, but man, this is definitely the worst incarnation they've ever done of it. And then they make you do all that other crap to get to it. What's up, Scrat? I bought a total of 1 game from the Steam sale that I actually kept. 2 that I refunded. And the one that I kept was actually a gift for somebody who didn't want it. So I basically bought nothing from the Steam sale. There's just like nothing on there I want at this point. Even the recommendations, it doesn't know what to recommend me because I have all the good games. So it keeps like recommending like all these like low tier ones that I would never bother playing. Time to beat up Yuri Lowell. The ultimate difficulty is pretty tough. It's just if you're using like a character with max defense, then yes, it's very easy. If you play on like a fresh character with almost no upgrades, even if you have like really good gems, they can two-shot you. So, I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, yeah, if you're playing on a stronger character, then yes, it's easy. This game has a pretty dynamic difficulty as it is. You know, you can just like not use gems or reset your attribute points. You don't really need to make it any harder. It was actually very annoying when it first came out because of how often they would tech out of combos randomly. Oh wow, that one's pretty good. Except for the assault damage. Still got a week to go before Vesperia. I have no idea what the hell I'm gonna play between then. My attempts to buy new stuff during the Steam sale have basically failed. Mom said she was gonna send me some money once she gets paid, so I'll probably pay off the MC5. Still a pretty crazy month for games, honestly. Tons of shit coming out. And I don't care about the big one, which is Kingdom Hearts. I played the first two. I didn't really consider them to be great games. They were decent. I thought the story made no sense, and the combat was only decent. It wasn't anywhere near as good as it should have been. Been hearing conflicting things about the new one too from the people who got the leaked copies. It's kind of saying it's got like polarizing improvements to the combat. I can't really say I care about that game though. Also, apparently on the Xbox version, it like barely runs at 30 FPS on the base platform. And they don't do PC versions, so if I wanted to play that like an actual tolerable action game frame rate, I would have to buy a PS4 Pro, which is something I'm never doing. As much as people rag on Koei, at least they put their games on PC. So the game runs like shit on PS4 if you have another option. I'm definitely thankful for that, and their ports are getting better. I haven't heard anything bad about the Dynasty Warrior 7 XL port. Apparently that one just kind of turns on and works. It isn't like this game where you need like a quantum-powered PC to run it at 1080p. I can only achieve locked 60 FPS on this with 720p. And it drops quite a bit while I'm streaming because of the extra processing power it requires. They still have not done a good job with optimization. I think the hate was partially warranted, but also people don't realize that their unrealistic expectations are what caused the problems this game has to begin with. When people would stop asking for random nobodies to be added into the game, then there would not be 50 clones in this game. People are too dumb to realize that. They don't care about the quality of the content, they just want quantity. Fire Emblem Muso has a fuck ton of clones, and the movesets it has, most of them are pretty good. It's pretty widely accepted that there's only like 1 or 2 bad movesets in the game. And even though there's tons of clones, you know, the movesets that are in there are pretty damn good, and they're all fun to play. And they have like different nuances to them and stuff. You also have to realize most people don't have the patience to wait months for a game to be fixed. Especially when you consider like places like GameStop will drastically tank the trade-in value past like the first few weeks. So if a game comes out shitty out of the gate, then most people are not going to keep it. You know, if you buy a new $60 game and it sucks, you can at very least, you can trade it into GameStop right away, not have to deal with like Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace, and get at least half of your money back and then buy something you want to play more. No, I think some of the hate is warranted, but at the same time, people are also on the right to not want to wait that long. But it's the fan base just being too stupid to realize that, you know, something has to give when they beg and whine for there to be 15 characters per game. I think they should have just cut everyone out, honestly. Yeah, a lot of them don't play either. You know, I have to deal with so many toxic comments towards this game. It really turned me off playing it for a while. There's a period of where I just wasn't really playing it at all. Even though I enjoy playing the game, I just wasn't playing it because I get tired of all the toxic comments and stuff. And I'm just at the point where I just hide those people. I can't deal with it anymore. It's not good for my mental health to sit and look at that crap all the time. And a lot of these people don't even like participate in the community or even play. So I don't really care to hear what they have to say at this point. Everybody's entitled to their opinion, but it doesn't mean you need to be a toxic asshole towards people who do like the game. And I wish people would understand that more on the internet. You know, with how many games come out now, it's totally fine to not like everything. You know, if you liked every genre out there, then you would never have time to do anything. There's too much shit coming out, but at the same time, don't be a dick to people who actually do enjoy playing it. Like, just move on. Don't consume that media. Leave those people alone. It's not rocket science. One thing I learned is that it is rocket science to a lot of people to just leave people alone if they enjoy something. They're not hurting anybody else. I don't care for like 90% of the games that come out, but you don't see me making life miserable for the people who do like them. It's fine that they like them. How does this have the worst combat when fucking Dynasty Warriors 6 exists? That makes no sense. That game was a literal button masher. There was nothing else you could do in that game but mash buttons. There was no depth at all. Any depth that was in the series at that point was all removed with that game. How can you say this has the worst combat? Dude, that's incredibly delusional. That makes no sense to me. You probably didn't even play the game. I don't know, the hate for this game seems kind of odd when you look at, like, Red Dead Redemption 2. That game has, like, a 97 on Metacritic. And it won all those awards and stuff, but then you go on, like, any forum of people who, like, actually play video games, and all of them are saying the exact same thing. You know, it's like, hey, the open world is great, and the characters are cool, and the story is great, but the gameplay sucks. It's like, well then, what is the value of the game if the only value of it is the cutscenes? I've never understood that. If I just wanted to watch cutscenes, I would rather just watch a movie. I would not have to bother with the whole interactive part of video games and just ingest the story that way. And like, can it really be called a great game if the gameplay sucks? I mean, especially if it's like a 50-hour time commitment. I would definitely want it to like actually be something enjoyable to play. I don't care how good the story is if I have to sit through a bunch of boring, flawed gameplay to get there. I don't understand the appeal of it either, but I just find it odd to me that games like that have rave reviews and then anybody who actually plays it, you go in forums and a lot of people are saying like, oh, I stopped after the second chapter because the gameplay was bad. I'm like, well then how can it be called a good game? It doesn't matter how immersive the story is if I have to play through a bunch of boring shit to get there.
無双は一味違います。猛毒無事か。あとは俺に任せておけ。奇跡の坂確保という気をつけるのはやはりこの視点だ。ここだな。伝令、宗人様からの援軍が到着しました。さすがは宗人よ。気の気遣いに助けられた。
I like how Jim Sterling, he also came back to complain that they added the claws back in as DLC. It's like, well, what's the point of coming back just to complain that they put your weapon in but they charging $4 for it? I mean, they could have made you buy another version for $60. I mean, especially from a company that's charged for the same old costumes from like Dynasty Warriors 3 through 6, like 5 times at this point. Is it really a big deal that you need to pay $4 for the weapon? I mean, if you like the character that much, then there you go. I do agree that they tried to change too much shit in this game, and that's kind of why it falls apart at the cracks, but still. I mean, they put in the weapon you wanted. What is there to complain about? I don't get it. You don't have any open world games that actually have functional combat. That's what people don't understand. And I've gotten so many random nobodies saying I'm delusional for saying that. I'm like, alright, well then name another open world game that actually has like melee combat this responsive. I never see anybody actually say anything. And combat is always an afterthought in these games. It's always just kind of there because it needs to be. It's never something that's actually like the highlight of it. I would argue it is, but you do kind of run out of things to unlock pretty quickly. There's a lot of ways to break the game, but if you actually enjoy the combat and you try out a majority of the movesets, yes, there is more. And it takes quite a bit longer to finish the game on a fresh file too, because you don't have like all the really powerful stuff.
時か。全軍撤退せよ。
義軍が引いていく。やりましたね。この戦、私たちの勝利です。そのようだな。だがやはり義軍は強い。曹操との戦はここで収めるべきやもしれん。随分やられてしまう。
Yeah, the cutscenes are very boring to watch. They still have not topped Dynasty Warrior 7 in terms of, like, actually telling the story. So since then, I have not even bothered. I just don't watch the cutscenes anymore. I have like 133 hours on this game. I haven't watched a single cutscene. It really did not need to be 94 story modes. I can tell you that right now. I think they should have just had Kingdom story modes again. I watched the cutscenes in 7. They actually made the story interesting. It was very enjoyable to watch, but problem is that it's the same story every time. So if you're not going to tell it in an interesting way or add new things, then there's no point in watching it. It's kind of like Star Wars games at this point. I mean, like how many interesting ways are there to knock over the ATSTs in Hoth? Like how interesting can you possibly make that when gamers have been doing that for like 30 years at this point? It's just like not a whole lot that can be done. You know, once it got to like the N64 era, where you know actually knocking over the AT-ATs was actually like 3D. I mean, we've done that like 10 times since that point. Like, there really isn't anything that can be done to make it more interesting. It's very much how the Dynasty Warriors narrative has been for a long time. And I don't even think it's the fault of the developers. It's just like not really anything that can be done. The combat in Dynasty Warriors 8 made me not want to bother with all the what-if stuff. I really hated the gimmicks they added in that game. I thought it just killed any fun I would have had messing around with it. I hated the whole affinity system. I thought that was the stupidest thing they've added. Even Renbu was better than the affinity system. It was like no fun to be had with the like the combat system in that game. It didn't let you have any freedom. It's very rare to come across an officer that was not. He didn't have weapons in a way that you couldn't really combo them. The only thing that was cool about it, the Storm Rush mechanic was very satisfying, but shouldn't have come at the cost of like actually being able to have fun with the combat system. I wish he did not have that trigger. It's so hard to use when you have more attack speed. When you stack attack speed, it like very rarely actually connects. Scrap, they're asking for Dynasty Warriors 10 because they have no fucking idea how game development works. There's no other nice way to put it. I mean, when they still have to declone like 45 officers, how the hell do you think they're gonna just jump straight to another one? And then people are complaining about the DLC. It's like, well then what do you want? You want to wait like 4 years for another game and then maybe have everyone decloned? It's better that they kind of refine things now and then maybe do another one down the line and not have to worry about that. I don't know, I've become so like disenfranchised with the fan base. Honestly, after this game, all the toxic shit I've had to endure this whole year from people who don't understand like how anything works. I do agree that they tried to change too much stuff in this game, but I still think it turned out pretty well, considering. You look at like the big AAA games that have like an order of magnitude more resources and budget and marketing than anything the Dynasty Warriors series has ever had, and they never change things this much in a single installment. You know, it'll take them like 3, maybe even 4 games to make all the changes they made in this. Yeah. Get excited for Call of Duty, and then there's already another one in like 9 months.
してください。敵将、私が討ち取りました。
Or like the tokusatsu community, the fans that like complain. You know, they get like one picture of the suits or they see the actors and then they say that they don't like the series, and then you could go to that same like Twitter account like 11 months later and they'll be like, man, I really missed that series. Well, why didn't you give the other one a chance? He didn't even wait until there was like a single episode on to write it off. And like, oh, I don't like the way that actor looks, I don't like the suits, and then you come back 11 months later and like, man, I really don't want this season to end. I don't understand it. They've done that every year as long as I've been in the tokusatsu fandom. It's been like 15 years now. I think I've had enough of this for today. Well, I think that happens with Call of Duty because they have to alternate developer studios to like actually make games of that size come out every single year without fail. And what little I know of Call of Duty is there's like the one studio that everyone really likes, and then there's the one that puts out the shitty ones. So that's part of the reason why that mentality exists, but yeah, it exists in many other gaming fandoms as well. They won't even give the current game a chance, or like even give the developers a chance to like actually fix things before they start begging for the next one. And I think they've done a great job at fixing this game. It's just it's not something that's easy to do. I wouldn't call the tokusatsu fandom toxic, it's just that a lot of them aren't very smart. And they don't even bother to give something a chance before they write it off, and then they watch it anyway. That's what I don't understand. Like, why would you invest 22 minutes of your time every Saturday, well actually it's usually Sunday or Monday by the time it gets subbed, towards something you don't like? You can very easily just wait until it's all out and try to find like a general consensus of it or something. I think a lot of people are actually starting to buy this game now because it's like $20. I went to the mall like 2 days ago and they had it on clearance at Target for 20 bucks. And people are still complaining about the DLC too. It's like, well, if you get the game, the full game, base price for $20, does it really matter if it has all that DLC? You can buy all the DLC and still be under, closer, maybe a little bit over what the base price was when it came out. And you don't have to buy it all. The second season pass has all those pointless schoolgirl costumes, which drastically jack up the price of the, you know, the overall value of it. But you don't have to buy it, you can just buy things piecemeal. I'll do a map of Orochi, and then I think I'm going to go ahead and rest my hands. I am still recovering, so I can't take it too... can't play too much. I don't want to get burnt out on this before the patch anyway. Alright, so give me a minute to switch over. This is what I'm concerned with right here. They have not done anything for Orochi at all in about a month. So there's like no patch in the works at all. This is basically the confirmation here, unless they're just like not making progress on the PC branch or something. But generally they always try to coordinate things with the console versions. There's no work being done on Orochi at all right now, which is why I kind of stopped playing it. I don't know if the support just died or what. They have not done anything since. This means this is Steam language for this was the last time the game was officially updated. This is when they made a change to the public branch, which is the one that everybody can buy. So that was almost a month ago, and they have not done anything else to it. So I'm curious to see if they actually already just dropped support for it, or if there's going to be like some kind of extra season or something. The game desperately needs it. Anything to like actually, you know, have more incentive to play it longer. But I've checked this like every day for a month, and there's been no actual like advancements or development at all. And you look at Dynasty Warriors 9 and it's updated almost daily. They are still working on a bunch of stuff. So about a week ago they made a change to their master developer branch, which means they're working on a patch. So that's why I came back to this game. It actually does have some kind of a future. The future of Orochi 4 right now is definitely in jeopardy. Not really any kind of anything to indicate that they're still working on it. I mean, I like the gameplay in this, it's just I don't have anything to do in it. You know, even getting the weapons is basically just pointless. There's no real reason to obtain them at all. Alright, I'm just gonna do a chill run here, and I think I'm gonna stop for tonight. A quick run. Yeah, it's a pretty stacked month for games, especially if you're into like action games and stuff. There's Vesperia, which I imagine is probably going to be the one that sells at least copies. But according to the producer of the Tales series, the new guy they brought on to actually make new console games and stuff, he said that the Tales games are kind of like, on Steam at least, they're like Pokemon games in that they're like evergreen titles. And even though a lot of that is because they sell them for like $10, but they actually end up selling more than the other platforms. So I think that game will sell pretty well. I think they're just releasing it in the wrong time. They should have put it out next month. There's not that many high-profile games for like the Weeb community next month. There's tons of stuff coming out this month, and next month's kind of like a little bit of a breather before all the other big AAA stuff comes out. They should have put it out that time. But I don't particularly care about Kingdom Hearts 3, so I didn't mind paying for it. I think anybody who actually likes playing Tales games at this point knows that it'll be like $15 in 8 months anyway, so it doesn't matter that much. Yes, but those aren't weeb games. you're misunderstanding what I was saying. For like weeb gamers, there's nothing really of note coming out next month. There's not a whole lot of overlap with like Anthem and Far Cry, with like Tales and Muso and stuff. And the weeb community is not going to be buying much of anything next month. This month there's tons of stuff coming out. There doesn't seem to be much hype for that game. It looks like another one of those throwaway anime games that has like very little depth. Honestly, I don't really see too many people really interested in it. I'm always very cautious about those anime games because they're always like just thrown out. They're always just thrown out to make a quick buck, and they're always abandoned for the next one. They're usually not very mechanically deep or interesting games. That's why Dragon Ball FighterZ was such a big deal, because they actually got a developer that knows how to make a fighting game for once, instead of random studios no one's heard of. They don't even bother to get like aiding to make those games anymore. They get like random nobodies to make them. Aiding was like the king of poverty anime fighting games, but I think they're mostly a mobile company now. They made like all the Naruto games, the ones that like actually have decent gameplay. Majority of the Kamen Rider games as well were made by them. When does God Eater 3 come out? Yeah, but it runs at like 30 FPS, and I have to pay for PS Plus, so that's a pass from me. I'm waiting for the PC version. Really don't buy anything on PS4 unless I have like absolutely no choice. It's either PC or Switch for me. I don't bother with anything else. Especially since I'm not going to get a PS Pro. I think Fate Extella is supposed to be next month. So that's probably the game I'll play in February, most likely. You know what, I want to check if that cheat engine table got updated. Then I would play this game more. If I actually had control over the damn Pandemonium mode, then I would actually still make, like, endgame videos and stuff. But I've been checking Fearless Revolution, like, every other day, and there's been no update at all. A lot of the options broke with the last patch. There might be something in the trainers, but the trainers are usually just boring stuff like cheat. I don't want to actually cheat, I just want to make the game harder. What is this? Okay, just more drama queens, like always. Warrior Shirochi 4 shit community does not deserve this guy's work. Okay. Whatever that means. Yeah, there's nothing really going on here. Give me a second, I'll see if I can find another cheat engine table. Okay, so there's a bunch of trainers on shady sites, which I would never be caught dead using. The most useful one was the one on Fearless Revolution, but it's not working anymore. Alright, well, that's all I could do there. Can't really... Alright, let me see if I want to do something else to close things off here. I'm glad the Tales community is more mature than the Musou community, because the main person who plays at like he plays at like the highest level possible in his solo runs. He's a very avid user of mods because the Tales games do not really offer the options needed to actually have a balanced, fun scenario, especially the latest ones. Like in Tales of Zestiria, to do anything resembling a solo run, you basically have to cheat, because you need to inflate your stats to the point where you don't need to transform. Oh, and then in stuff like Xelia 2, like you can't like do a full combo unless your character has all the elements. The only character that has all the elements is Ludger. I don't really know. I think Berseria is one of the more friendlier ones in terms of actually being able to play at a high level without having to use cheat engine. But in general, he is the most respected like Tales of player, and he's always very open about how he has to use mods, and he even lists them in the like the descriptions and stuff. And people don't give him shit for it. I don't know why this community is so upset that people use it, especially when it's like to make the game harder. Like, I only use it just to make the game more fun, or in Orochi's case, to make it harder. Like I was doing the Pandemonium mode runs, but then the game updated and I'm not able to do that anymore, so... I think a lot of it comes from jealousy, because they don't have gaming PCs and they think it's unfair. I don't know. I don't understand it myself. Yes, clip. It's like a clip could very obviously not use mods, but it's not fun. And a lot of the games it would be very boring if you didn't. But absolutely nobody gives him shit for it, and then in this community it's crazy. Hey girl, are you gonna stream? I think I'm done for tonight. If you want to throw up your stream, then go ahead. I'll wait for you. I'll send people over there. I don't really think I feel like playing much of anything else. No, actually, I can do my closers loot boxes in about 14 minutes, so I'll do that. Hold on.
遅い。ああ失礼。邪魔。
勝てると思ってる？
Get ready. Cover me. Fire. Danger. Dodge. Cover me. Game over.
お世話になっておりますか。
Kind of congested right now, so I'm gonna go ahead and stop. In the morning, I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to be doing. I do need to go do some groceries and stuff, so maybe before or after I go get my errands done, I'll probably come back on. I imagine there will be a Dynasty Warriors 9 patch this week, so I probably won't be playing that too much. I'll probably explore some other options for now. I didn't really see anything I wanted off the Steam sale. I bought one game that I refunded, and then I got Black Desert Online, which had really shitty controller support and no controller UI, so I refunded that as well. The only thing I bought was Sonic Mania, and that was meant for a friend, but they didn't want it, so I ended up just redeeming it. That's the only thing I bought for myself. There's just like nothing on there I want that's I don't have already. You can look at the games that they're recommending me. They're all like lower tier stuff. Since I have like all the good Muso games, all it recommends is like Senran Kagura and stuff, which is basically just like a poor man's Basara with a bunch of shitty fan service. So, because I played Orochi 4 and it wants to recommend me bootleg Tales. Also, Neptunia games, which are like the epitome of poverty. Now I'm going to have a bunch of these games in there because I tried Black Desert and hated it. It didn't even work. This is like some weird, like, physics-based beat 'em up. It looks pretty bad. I was kind of interested in... I saw it was a new beat 'em up, but not for me. Yeah, see, here we go. Since I already have all the good beat 'em ups, this is all it can recommend me is this. It's just like... it's like Poverty Basara. I hear the new one, the Burst Renewal. I hear that one's like actually somewhat decent, but you still can't turn all that fan service crap off. That's what I don't like about it. This is actually a good recommendation, but I already have 2 versions of this game, so I'm not going to buy it again. Also, this game is pretty expensive, base price. It's $50, and there's like tons of DLC. I would buy that, but I already have 2 versions of it, so it's kind of frivolous to do that. Yeah, this is what it has to offer me for beat 'em ups. Is this random game about like European movie actors or something? It's like not good gameplay wise. And Guac 2, which I already own. Well, yeah, I didn't buy shit this sale. I had pretty bad luck. I will be back probably maybe in the morning. I'll try to sneak in the stream in the morning if there's nothing going on, and then after lunch for sure. I have a couple things I can work on that are not Dynasty Warriors 9. I'll probably play some Jets and Guns 2. Maybe some other stuff as well. I'll see you guys tomorrow.